I'm really struggling to think about how I want to talk about the waiting because yesterday I was so optimistic and I was like, oh, we're going to get Madeline Bosch's perspective. No. We're going to see Hieronymus helping out. No. I mean, sort of, but no. And so you don't get all the way through to this point. You don't get all the way to the waiting. You know, what came out in 2023? Um when the series started in 1990, and not know that this is an unserious man. Okay, like I need you guys to know that I know that Michael Connelly is unserious, but I wasn't fully prepared for how unserious this book was going to get. And that's not to say that this is not a good book, because it very much is. Like, besties, Michael Connelly, he does have the sauce. Okay, like Michael Connelly, just like all the other books that I've enjoyed this year, we have gotten to the subject matter, and we've been investigating, we've been delving through it, we've been engaging in the story, we've been having highs and lows. There's been things to pull us along. There's been we've been following leads. We've been thinking, oh, this is gonna be the big break, only to find out that actually, psych, this was not the big break. But you thought, didn't you? I got you to think that. And it's been really good. It has been a really good story. But besties, we are unserious. So it started off with the investigation into Ballard's missing belonging, because that kind of took precedent. So in this book, we actually had 3 investigations going. The first investigation that we quickly shut down was Ballard's stolen weapon, her badge, and her like wallet, like her personal effects. And so she was able to track them down to this father-son thievery duo who have been boosting people near the beaches. I say people, they're surfers. So they've been boosting surfers, and she tracked him down to this like middleman whose alleged lawyer was allegedly Mickey Holler. I don't believe this for a second. Like, Mickey Holler's had some questionable clients, but I don't think that he is defending people who are selling what this man was selling. I don't believe it. So I appreciated the Mickey Holler shout out, but like, in no world is Mickey Holler defending this man, particularly in a world where the Proving Ground just came out and I'm supposed to believe that this is the new and improved Mickey Holler. There's no way. I think this man thinks that he had money and so he'd be able to hire the Lincoln lawyer, but there's no way that Mickey Holler would accept this case. Anyway, so she gets her badge back, but we find out that it was sold to a man who was a noted white supremacist and at the January 6th insurrection. So that was fun. And then what really killed me is, so she breaks into this man's like white, panel van, and she's like snooping around in the back, and the man comes back, so she has to hide in the back. And they go on a drive, and Bosch is following behind, and he's like, oh my goodness, what is this little girl got herself into at this point? Things are going to go sideways expeditiously, but they're, keeping calm, they're keeping quiet, and he's just, following from a distance. And it's in this that she discovers that they have a plot, and she doesn't really know where they're driving to, because again, she's like tucked away in the back, she can't see anything. So when she's able to finally escape the van after they stop at a McDonald's and go back to the little homeless friends, she makes a run for it out of the driver's side, and she links back up with Bosch, and she's like, where did they go? And they were looking at the pier in Malibu, and that's where they were going to do their attack. So they were going to shoot up the pier on President's Day, and they were looking to buy machine guns to do so. And Ballard's first thought is, oh, I should let somebody know. Her first thought is still, I don't have my badge, so I need to get my badge back, because it's going to look even worse for me if they are actual domestic terrorists and they have my badge in their possession. I'm sorry. I feel like we have lost the plot here. Like, I wanted to understand her at the very beginning when she was like, oh, other people might be able to misplace their belongings or get their things stolen out of their vehicle, but not me, not I. And it is true that Bosch, Bosch, but Ballard is kind of on like a, I really don't think she's on that, like, way that she talks is almost like Michael Conley is still writing Hieronymus, because Hieronymus was always hanging by a thread. Like, he was always like 2 seconds away from like doing something bad. And I understand that Ballard is a woman and she already had like one strike against her, because if you remember back in the Late Show, she got kicked out of robbery homicide because she had accused her superior officer of sexual harassment. Low-key sexual assault, but I don't really know if we got all the way there, if it's just harassment. But either way, she'd accused him of sexual misconduct, right? And it was found like there was no foundation for that, and so that she got kicked out of robbery homicide because they're not going to work together, and she got stuck in the Hollywood division working the Late Show as like the solo detective, right? And so I understand that she already has like some marks on her record, but the police chief himself like pulled you out of retirement and gave you a whole division to run. Like, you are running he revitalized the open unsolved unit, plucked you out of retirement, and now you're scared of going and reporting your car got broken into and they stole your service weapon and your badge. And her first instinct is not to like run to the LAPD and be like, oh my goodness, there's a noted white supremacist who is planning a domestic act of terror. Like, it was deeply unserious. Now, thankfully, they do inform somebody, and so she starts working surreptitiously with the FBI because she has an FBI friend. And so she's like, haha, we are going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to get this back, and my name is never going to come up. And they are able to thwart the domestic act of terror. They're able to bring down the white supremacist, and before he can even get his hands on machine guns. But to do so, they have to use Bosch's bait in this like in the FBI sting operation. And Bosch does like recommend himself. He's like, he volunteers for it. That's what I was looking for. He does volunteer for the role of, human bait. And he does so even after Ballard is like, they're not going to pay you. Like, they're going to show up and murder you and take the guns and run. Thankfully that doesn't happen, but it's like, that this man already is like suicidal. You saw his suicide pills in the last book. You saw that he was out here already with his goodbye notes written. Even at the end of the book, when he had like run away to Florida and committed that murder that I talked about in the last video, where Ballard was looking at him like, oh my goodness, how could you be a murderer when she herself was a fucking murderer? So she's like, you already know this man has like suicidal ideation. Like, he is perfectly fine going out in a blaze of glory. Like, it is, I don't want to say it's criminal to me, but for this to be his involvement, also he's still in the middle of fucking chemotherapy. Like, cancer is still kicking this man's ass, and he is not at all present in the story. It's just a little bit crazy that was his involvement. Everything does go smoothly. The operation goes off mostly without a hitch. The two people who were linking up to buy the weapons are killed by the FBI. And so Bosch is able to get Ballard's badge back, and things keep pushing. The other investigation is into this serial rapist case that has a link, and so they were investigating the judge for that in the first 10%. We have since discovered that the judge is not the biological father, and the mother is not the biological mother, and they had actually adopted this baby from a teenage girl on their block. She was like 16 years old, and her parents forced her to give birth to this baby, but they were like, you're not keeping this baby. So they adopted this baby, and then a year later, that girl killed herself. But whoever her baby daddy is the pillowcase rapist who was out here running around for a couple decades, raping people and murdering one woman. So they're trying to find out who did this. They had like one lead that they have now followed to Vegas, and that man was like, it's not me, I'm not the baby daddy, but here, sure, take my DNA. So now they're kind of back at square one, but they do know that they're at the night that they think that she conceived this child was prom, and there was a group room, and there were some men in the room who they're now looking for. So they have some leads as to follow up on if this Mr. Vegas man is not the baby daddy, but they're still hunting that down. But Madeline Bosch, the case that was on her mind, this is the thing. So I was excited when I saw that there was a third narrator who was here to narrate Madeline Bosch, because previously she had not had a dedicated narrator for her, but she does now. So I thought we were going to get her perspective, and we haven't. It's still just been our girl, Renee Ballard, but she wanted to join the unit because a case had been haunting her, and the case that was haunting her was the Black Dahlia. Tell me why, before Madeline Bosch did anything, she has allegedly solved the Black Dahlia murders. Because one day she was minding her business and she was moving in with her boyfriend, but she didn't want to bring everything to her boyfriend's house in case, they didn't make it, work. And so she had rented a storage unit. And when she went to the storage unit place that she was renting, the owner of the establishment was like, oh my goodness, you're a law enforcement man or woman. hey, I have this unit over here. Would you like this unit? This person has been delinquent for a couple of months and you could just have it. And in that unit, she found photos that look like they were taken of the murder of the Black Dahlia in an undescript location. And so, through this and a variety of other little things that happen along the way, she has decided that she has solved the case. And Renee Ballard agrees with her, and the rest of the open unsolved unit agrees that they have solved the Black Dahlia case, which is crazy. This is it's mostly crazy because Michael Connelly has gone out of his way to establish things in this world that are like mostly in line with our lived reality. And the Black Dahlia murder being solved is probably the biggest departure from our lived reality that we've had in the series in a hot minute. And it's just so crazy to me that of all the things that could have happened, like her mother was an FBI agent turned bank robber turned professional poker player. Like, I thought it was going to be something to do with that. Like, it was going to be a ghost from her past, because we have to remember that she didn't meet Hieronymus until she was like 4 years old. And then I guess that technically was in Vegas, but like she lived a long time, like 4 years without him. And then for another 8 years, it was pretty much just like summer vacation when she wasn't in school. And then after that, she did live she lived with him until she graduated, then she moved on in her life. Like, I really thought that it was going to be something from her like time spent in college or doing something. I had no idea that it was going to be the fucking Black Dahlia and we were going to solve the Black Dahlia case. That to me is the most unserious aspect of everything that has happened so far today. But it is what it is. I can't say that. I mean, I can say that I'm surprised because I am, but otherwise I'm just like, okay. So that has been my experience reading The Waiting, and I'm still having a good time. Like, I am enjoying it, but this is like, didn't see that one coming. I will probably finish this book tonight, and then I will be taking a brief break. Technically, I do have my hold. Technically, I did purchase Bloodwork, which is one of the earlier Michael Connelly stories that I need to read. That is going to follow FBI agent Terry McCaleb, and I'm pretty sure that's when they're looking for this Sierra Azul lady that they name. I think that's actually the investigation into his wife's, like, his wife's family dies. But everything about this case we learned, I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct here, in the book A Darkness More Than Night. I think that was the name of the book number 6. When Terry McCaleb was brought in to investigate Hieronymus Bosch for being a serial killer. I mean, he is, in my mind, but he was not the serial killer that we were looking for in that particular book. And so I'm going to take a pause on that one because I really don't care about Terry McCaleb. In fact, I think he's probably my least favorite Michael Connelly protagonist, including the people from like Chasing the Dime or Void Moon. Like, it's not, he ain't it. So I'm not super looking forward to reading his book, and the cover of that book is actually super ugly, but I bought it. It was on sale. So I do own that one, and my hold on Suicide Run just came in today. That's like a 3-hour short story collection. But like I said, I'm going to put a pause on that. And so tomorrow I'm going to read probably a romance while I'm at the hotel. Tomorrow is a bit of a longer day for little old Monty because I work at the hotel, and then I have a short break. And then I'm at the restaurant until 10:30ish. So hopefully that'll be it. And then I work the rest of the weekend as well. So late nights the rest of the week, and the rest of the week, not Sunday. Sunday's video will be up at a reasonable hour, I'm assuming here. I don't have my Sunday schedule for the hotel. So if I don't work at the hotel on Sunday, then it'll be a reasonable hour. Actually, I doubt that I do because I'm pretty sure Sundays are a holiday party. And I really don't know if I'm going to go to the holiday party. I've gone to the last 2 and like they were fine. Maybe I will. Who knows? So I don't think I work late on Sunday. So Sunday's video will be up at a reasonable hour. But I know that Friday and Saturday I work until like midnight. So those will be a little bit later. So I do have Nightshade on hold. I have Bloodwork out. And so I'm pretty sure actually tomorrow we're going to talk about the last little bit of The Waiting that I have. I'm going to read a romance. I don't know what romance I'm going to read. I'll have to maybe put some stuff on hold on Libby tonight. Actually, what I might do, because I talked about this already, I might just start reading the Twisted Love stuff from Miss Anna Wong. Because we have Twisted Games we got from Libro of him as part of the ALC program, the new duet narration. I don't like Cindy K. I think that's who does the audio for that series. I don't know if I like her, but we're going to read it anyway. But we got Twisted Game and Twisted Hate as part of that. And so those are audiobooks that I know for sure I have access to. Or what I could do is attempt to get caught up with the Emily Wrath of it all, or I could try and get caught up with the Heated Rivalry of it all. So those are all possibilities. I know both Heated Rivalry and Game Changers, but because Heated Rivalry is book 2, right? And that's what the show is. But Game Changers, I know those are both part of my Hoopla package at the library. So those are things that I have access to immediately that I don't really have to worry about. But I'm going to see what speaks to me. I might take a stroll through my NetGalley, see what's been released, what I need to get caught up on, if any of those are speaking to me. Because for the most part, my NetGalley requests have been, with the exception of Our Vicious Oaths, and I think there was another one. Oh, I had Rush Week from NetGalley, and I was listening to that. I think that was like back in November. I listened to like the first page, first hour, not even an hour, maybe 20 minutes. I got to all of them coming back home. Maybe I don't really want to read that, but I'm gonna find something. Is really the point of this. So, tomorrow will be the last Michael Conley dedicated day for a minute, for at least according to Libby 2 weeks, because that's how long my wait for Nightshade is, and I just can't be asked to buy another audiobook. I just can't do it. So I will see you guys tomorrow. But until then, and until next time.